Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. This episode is brought to you by Emmy, one of our newest Patreon patrons. Today, Sergio and I will be chatting with our special guest, GrizzlyNina, and she'll be taking us through the art of Animal Crossing. So to begin, hello Sergio, how you doing?
Hello Chewin, doing quite well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and hello Nina, first time on the show, long time listener.
Hi guys, Chewy, and Sergio.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. You've been a patron for a very long time. You've been on the Discord server for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so, I guess, there, as per usual, there's not much Animal Crossing news to talk about. Or there's none at all. I was actually remembering, and maybe I should have pulled this up to send it to you all, but I retweeted this picture a while ago, and it's of, do you remember last year when I guess they just announced that Super Smash Bros. Is coming, and they had this whole Splatoon type of intro thing happening. And essentially the big thing was that the Inkling, their eye, had the Smash logo.
Yes.
So I retweeted a picture of that same kind of thing the other day, and it was from that day. I think it was like March 2018. Mm-hmm. So over a year ago. And somebody had made a version of it where if you zoomed in really close to the eye, it just said, still no Animal Crossing news, though.
Oh, no.
And it's been over a year since that moment, and that picture is as relevant today as it was back then.
It's relevant every single day.
Every single day. That's the only picture I think of. Still no Animal Crossing news. So yeah, I guess I actually wanted to start with chatting with you a little bit, Nina. And I have some questions.
Okay.
And the first one I always like to ask people when they're visiting us on the show is, when did you first get into Animal Crossing? And I guess I can say also, like, you can be as detailed as possible with this.
Okay. My first Animal Crossing game was Wild World, which came out when I was a senior in high school. So I saved up for one of the pink DSs and was so excited to not have to share a system with my brothers. And I think I grabbed Wild World at random because I liked the cover art. I don't remember knowing what Animal Crossing was, but I also have a tiny fishbowl memory, so it's possible that I did. And I would play it. I used to be a cashier at Michael's in high school, and so I would play it on my breaks and ignore everyone that worked
there. That's the best way to go. You're saying that, and I'm already like really dreaming of when this next game comes out, and I can just take my lunch break and just disappear
and ignore all your coworkers.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna like sneak to my car or something and be like, nope, I don't even want to be in the break room. I just want to be alone.
Totally understand that.
Yeah, well, that's pretty awesome. Wild World is a huge game, and I was realizing it because I've always liked City Folk better just because it was kind of the better game. But as far as like Wild World, what it did for the series is pretty huge because up until last year, it was still the best-selling Animal Crossing game. And then even beyond that, like, it's kind of a pioneer in many ways where the DS was the first system that Nintendo had that had online play, and Animal Crossing was one of the first games that brought online play to just Nintendo games, so yes. It's a good game to start with, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It has great memories for a lot of people.
Yeah. So, my next question is, what is your favorite spin-off Animal Crossing game?
I loved Happy Home Designer. I liked I always tried to make my rooms as realistic as possible. I never really got into making like fantasy themes.
Right.
So I really liked it, and I loved that we got like all the new furniture in that game instead of doing like the green furniture and the blue furniture over and over that we always see. But I'm also like an Amiibo Festival apologist. I really like playing that game. But my Wii U
Well,
stopped reading discs, so it won't let me play it
Oh
anymore.
no.
that's a huge bummer.
It was revolting against the Amiibo Festival.
So, so when it doesn't read discs, does it also like do that thing? Because I feel like I had a DVD player that did this, but it just like spit everything out. It was like, no, I'm not hungry. Don't try to feed me anymore.
No, it like sounds like it's trying to take off, honestly. It starts
Oh, wow.
making really horrible noises.
Oh no.
It's
Well,
trying
you
to
should-
get away from Amiibo Festival.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, now here's a follow up. Does it play other discs?
No, it just doesn't play anything anymore.
Okay, so it's not Amiibo Festival, but it's worth wondering, I think.
No, and I'm only still keeping it around because it plays Netflix.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, what's up with the Switch not having Netflix yet?
I have no clue.
Especially, you know what? I'm gonna make a prediction right here, right now. Netflix is coming to the Switch July 4th, 2019.
Oh.
Oh.
And that's specifically because we're getting like an exclusive Stranger Things 3 video game on the Switch, like exclusively. Like it's not coming to other consoles. And that's a Netflix show, and there's no Netflix on the Switch at all.
Ah, that's a good point.
So, and they totally want people to be able to like watch the show and
Right.
play the game together, but you can't do that on the same device. That's weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So that's my guess. Netflix, it's coming. It's going to happen July 4th. Because that's when the season premieres and when the game comes out and everything. So
Happy birthday, America.
that's right. And happy birthday, everybody with the Switch, because it's finally happening.
Oh, I need it.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I guess before I ask you this next question, I'm typing into the chat that little picture I was telling you about, where if you zoom in real close,
I can't
you
wait.
just see in the Inkling's eyes, still no Animal Crossing Switch news though. And it's so sad that that's still the case. I cannot believe it. So speaking of Animal Crossing Switch, though, this is an Animal Crossing Switch themed question for you.
Okay.
What is something you're looking forward to in this new game?
I think my favorite part of Animal Crossing games is starting a new town. I love watching the maps like generate. I think that's really interesting for some reason. And I love starting from scratch, like having to put together an outfit with the ugliest shirts that are being sold in the first couple of days, and just like not knowing where you're going yet and having to talk to everybody. I'm just excited to start again.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure, because I remember I never really did this kind of before New Leaf, but when New Leaf came out, I came at this game a lot more, I guess, strategic, more organized about what I wanted to do with my
Yeah.
town.
Right.
And so when I first got the game, I spent the first like hour or two just resetting and looking at all the different maps and being like, okay, what is the layout for me?
Well, and I think because it came out in Japan so much earlier, we had so much information about what the game was going to be like and what we
Yes.
wanted and didn't want, that I think a lot of people ended up doing that.
Yeah, and it is. I'm glad the game's not coming out like months before somewhere else because,
Right.
I mean, though, I just couldn't help it. I couldn't help watching every single video I could find about Animal Crossing New Leaf before it was out, and so I knew plenty of things to expect. And then the months kept rolling on, and I started getting a little bit more worried. I was like, have I seen too much of this game? Is it not going to be interesting to me by the time it's out?
Yeah.
I did not run into that at all, though.
No, me
'cause
neither. I think I watched like Lin and Co's YouTube videos like 6 times over. I was so ready for it.
Yeah, I just revisited those over and over, and I didn't mind at all. I was just like, look, I get it. I'm watching a lot of what's going to happen in this game, but they're playing this a lot differently than I would.
Yeah.
Like and I think that's the magic behind Animal Crossing. Like you can enjoy somebody else's gameplay just as much as you enjoy yours, and it doesn't really like dampen the experience at all.
Well, the content goes so deep and it's so open. I think that's exactly the reason. Yeah, you can play it way differently than someone else.
Yeah, and starting fresh is so fun.
Yeah.
Like being able to answer all the questions and see like, oh, this is what my face looks like on drugs. No, I'm just kidding. This is my face now. This
Some
is
of
my
them
face.
really do look weird.
Some of them kind of look like you're not taking care of yourself.
I love it.
But it's also really great to point out like you start with scraps at the beginning of the game. You get this really ugly shirt and you're just like, gosh, who was I before this? you always start out in like I always get like the flame t-shirt and I'm like, oh man.
Yes, and you've got like the worst haircut you can possibly have.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness, I came in here looking like Guy Fieri. And that's not what I need in my life.
I love it. The beginning of the game is my favorite.
Yeah, no, it's great because it just like it. I feel like that also goes to inspire you to be like, oh no, I can't look like this. And so it gives you some of that like motivation you need to keep up, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay, so this question is going to be to both of you because I made a video from yesterday where I talked about 5 species that I want to see in the new game. So to both of you, what species do you want to see in Animal Crossing Switch?
So I want to see skunks. I want to see a good variety of them, different colors, different, slightly different styles. But like you said, some special character species need to expand into regular villagers, and I want to see skunks.
That would be super cute. Mine kind of goes along with that, Sergio, because I wanted to do any kind of bushy ring-tailed mammals, like a raccoon, a red panda, a lemur, like a coromandee. They could all be in their own little group. I mean, they could also be separate, too. I don't mind having lots of new species. But I love a big fluffy tail. I think they look so cute.
They are. And we've never had a raccoon in the game before.
We have not, because Tom Nook is not a raccoon.
Nope, not at all. Tom Nook is a tanuki. Mm-hmm. That's why his name is Tom Nookie. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I love the big fluffy tails, and it'd be really great to see them just like waddling around and you see them. It's adorable.
Yeah,
I love it.
The chipmunks' little tails are so cute, and I feel like even if they kind of look similar to the wolves, they could have big fluffy tails.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad you said skunks, Sergio, because I limited myself to going with only one villager species that was already like a special character, you know?
Right, gotcha.
And it hurt me to not have like skunks or sloths because they're adorable.
Yeah.
They're so cute. Kix is adorable.
Kix is adorable, and Leaf is so cute.
Yeah, they're both the cutest.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, but I had to go with turtles because I just love them. I love them so much.
They'd be really cute.
Yeah, and I don't know. Did you ever watch the cartoon, that kids show, Franklin?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a little turtle. It was the best.
Yeah.
So good.
Wait, wasn't that kind of like Little Bear too? Were they friends or something, or am I making that up?
For some reason, I feel like they exist together.
They're in the same woods somewhere.
Yeah, I'm looking it up low key just to see, but I don't know. I feel like Franklin and Little Bear are besties.
Oh, totally.
I feel this is totally a picture of them together, I think. Yeah.
How bizarre.
I'm confused. I don't know. But I love them, and I love all these options. It's always really exciting to see what new characters we're getting, who's the new special character in town, what kind of shop they have. Please let it
Yes.
be backpacks or KK Slider getting a music store. Those are my favorite options now.
Yes.
Yeah, especially because I don't know if you watched my Pocket Camp Let's Play, but I bought some of the backpacks in that one, and they're so cute.
They are.
I love walking around with a little red backpack. It's adorable.
Man, and if they made one turtle shell themed, then all your dreams would come true.
I could be a turtle.
Yeah.
I mean, they might as well just like make a bunch of outfits because they have like the bunny outfit, the cat outfit. I think there's a bear one as well.
Oh, there is. Yes.
Yeah, so they need just more outfits that let us be animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like people there's the group of people out there who want to be able to decide between being like a human or being an animal. And I don't know if I could handle being an animal. Like, because I just feel like that comes with a lot of options, like what kind of animal you want to be.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, now I just have to start a new town as every animal.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
So I think I lean more toward just like, give us more outfits where we can be many different animals.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Well, this was fun. So now I'm really excited about this because it's something we've never done before. We're going to go ahead and move into our next segment, and that is The Art of Animal Crossing with GrizzlyNina. And I guess tell us a bit about your background, Nina, because I feel like you're the right person to have on for talking about the art of Animal Crossing.
Well, I hope I don't let you down. So I I'm an elementary school art teacher. I've been teaching for 9 years now. But I also worked as an illustrator for a long time in college too, and do like drawing and doodling on my own.
Well, that's awesome. I think that's way more experience than I have. Yeah. So yeah, I guess you wanted to. What was your idea for this? Did you want to go through, I guess, basically like the cover art of each game?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much art to go through. I figured it'd be best to kind of narrow it down to the cover art, the box art of every game that we've had so far. And I found some good references if you guys want to look at them in the Google Doc, and I'm just hoping that we can explain them well enough for the listeners.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one, we've got to start with Population Growing, which came out in 2001 on the GameCube. And it starts out pretty simple. I really like this box art. The front is like a 2 or 3 story home with your character coming out the front door, and all the windows are opened with different characters like peeking out.
Oh.
And it's so simple. It's almost like airbrushed looking. I think it kind of deviated a little bit from what the graphics are on the GameCube, but it just looks so cozy to me.
I remember just spending a lot of time just looking at this box. But the thing was with it, like, I didn't have this box until recently. I only really could look it up online. And so I just look at the characters, and it is very cozy. I really like seeing all of the characters coming out of the window.
Yeah.
Especially like the Gaston coming out of like the attic window, I would assume.
Gaston's
it's
my
kind
boy.
of like,
I love him.
yeah. So he like comes out of a window that I feel like it's a different location than what you're actually able to get in this house, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get like the 2 floors in Population Growing and basement, but you don't really get like an attic, which I think they more introduced in Wild World, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I always notice there's just Blathers sitting right on top of the roof.
Yeah.
It's like a little baby Blathers also. He's got the teeniest little legs. He's
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah, it's like his son or something.
Yeah. Blathers Jr.
Yeah.
But like I also just noticed how like simplified the art is, and there's not much going on, which is nice because when we see later, when we get to the other games, they get a lot of stuff going on later, and it's like it's almost too much. So this one's just a really nice classic box.
Yeah. And then, I guess, did you want to talk about the back of the box at all?
Yeah, we could. I mean, it's leafy. There's lots of leaves, but this is something that we're gonna see on a lot of the back of the boxes. They have like little vignettes that show you different things you can do, which I think is good. Sergio, your KK's on the back, which is exciting.
Yeah, I noticed because we mentioned that he's not on the front of only this one, at least from the mainline ones. But yeah, he's on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. When I picture this like Animal Crossing box, I guess I don't ever really think about the back of it for sure.
Right.
Yeah. And we get another kind of like young looking Blathers back here too.
Yeah. I mean, the graphics in this definitely are different than what we're used to, just because it's the first game and it's older. But also, they just kind of seem to airbrush everything. They've made it a little more pretty than you'll see when you're actually playing the game.
I think the game's beautiful.
It is. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah. And then I do also like that it's all the characters kind of telling you about what's going on in the scene. Like they've got a speech bubble that's coming from them. So you know you're in for talking animals with the game. And they talk a lot.
They do. They do. I can't imagine. I mean, again, because my first game was when I was a senior in high school. I can't imagine having to read this as a child. I don't think I'd be able to get through it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I relate to that too, just because, like, I remember going through the intro and Tom Nook just kept going and going and telling you all about, like, your life there in Animal Crossing and what to do with your house and paying things off. And then at the end, you're just, like, trying to go through it. You're clicking your buttons as fast as possible. And then you accidentally pick that option where he repeats everything again.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh no, what have I done? I have to hear this all again. Yeah. But also, like, I kind of did that to myself the first time because I was like, because he asks you, like, in a very sincere way, did you catch everything? Do you need to hear this again? And I was like, I don't know, do I? I've never played this game before. Maybe I should try it again. But yeah, just a little side note. I like that there's speech bubbles there.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Yeah. And I love the colors of this one, too.
Yeah, they're not too, like, saturated or vibrant. They're just enough. I like that, too.
Yeah, you definitely get, like, that sunny, kind of partly cloudy day throughout the whole thing. And it extends to the back. Like, it feels like it's still that one picture because they kind of share a cloud in the, I guess, what do you call that? The edge, the seam of the case.
Right, right.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a little booker there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of little guys on this one.
Yeah. Lots of characters.
3 cats on the cover, Sergio.
Yeah. Almost more than you can name.
Oh, wow. This is going to be a thing now.
Oh, no.
But I also see Lloyd. And
Yeah.
for some reason, I feel like Lloyd, to me, personally, he's easy to forget about, I guess, as far as population growing goes and into the rest of the series. But yeah, he's here. He's prominent.
Yeah, and it is really sad that he's easy to look over because he is one of 2 characters that doesn't have an amiibo at all.
Yeah.
Like, there are a bunch that don't have amiibo figures, of course, but Lloyd doesn't have an amiibo card, along with Harvey, who is, like, the person who controls the whole amiibo portion of your town.
Right?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So kind of sad that we
Yeah.
don't see Lloyd in, like, a major role at all.
I mean, you barely see him on this cover, too. He's the same color as the house, and he blends right in.
Yeah. And they have, I don't know, it's just fun to see them like wiggling around. They're saying, "Oh, my best friend's here. Hello, best friend. Welcome home."
He's like a puppy. He's always happy to see you.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Cool. So did you have anything else to point out with this initial cover?
I don't think so. I've only played this game in passing. To be honest, the grid system or the acre system gives me like horrible migraines. So I'm glad that we can move on to Wild World for the next one.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's do it.
Yeah. So the next one, Wild World, came out again 2005. And this is another really solid box art, I think, because it's showing the pinwheel. Like it's really trying to get you to see how different this one is going to be from the first one. So the front cover is like the circular or spherical world, and the Animal Crossing logo is in the middle of it, and there's characters all around that it's just adorable. You also see the daytime and the nighttime, which I think is highlighting, the real-time clock, which was huge.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm also, now that you're pointing it out a little more, that like middle section is kind of that sunset type of vibe.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it transitions really well between the two.
And I love that Cap'n's little taxi cab is on the side. It's super nostalgic for me.
Yeah, that's a big change. Like we have seen a car in Animal Crossing prior to this, because in the first game, sometimes Gracie would show up and she'd be like, "Can you wash my car for me?" And so you'd have to wash her car. And it was really weird seeing a car in Animal Crossing, just like in that world. It just feels really out of place. And so, like, driving up with your taxi here, it's like, it's as weird as it is.
Yeah, it's because, like, how does it get in? There's no ramps. You're stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And then on the back, there's little text boxes again for what they're talking about. There's KK's on the back. Oh, wait, he's on the front, too.
Yeah.
And Celeste, was Harriet new in Wild World? She's back there, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of noticing there are a couple new characters, I guess new compared to the previous game. So Harriet was introduced. So was Celeste, who's kind of on the left by KK.
Yeah.
And then I see a couple more special characters, and I'm not remembering if they were in the previous games, but we've got Pascal, who's kind of behind the apple tree. And then way on the right, behind the taxi, kind of like underneath the taxi, is Sahara.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember, was Sahara, and were they both in the previous game?
Oh, I'm not the person to ask.
I want to say no, especially Pascal. I don't think he was in the original.
Yeah, Pascal's a fun little character. He's always so deep.
He is. I really like him.
Yeah. And then I feel like you also have some of like the new roles being highlighted in the sense of Copper and Booker are way at the bottom.
Yeah.
And they're now like gatekeepers, kind of like border patrol dogs. And I always like their like kind of like night medieval outfit thing they had going on.
Yeah. Almost like a Swiss Guard even. They've got those red coats. But I think also what's really important with this one is it's showing two humans, because was this the first one where you share the house together, don't you?
Yeah, that's true. And I don't think we've gone back to that either, like where everybody moves in and they share the same home in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even in like City Folk and New Leaf, it was all separate.
Right. This was like Willy Wonka's family all in the same bed.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that this points out is that, like, the characters, one's handing an apple to the other. Of course, they've already taken a bite. Messed up.
Grab it.
But regardless, they're like handing an apple to each other, and this is the first game where you could play in the same town together at the same time. Like
Yeah.
that didn't exist before.
Which is totally why Copper and Book are on there, because they wanted to show that, connectivity.
Yeah, definitely. And because like I said, this game's like a pioneer for that for Nintendo. Before, they didn't really have like online games, and so we've got this game that's like one of the first. I think this and Mario Kart were the first of like the Nintendo games to be like online play type of games.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it goes really well with the fact that, you see the Wi-Fi logo, the Wi-Fi connection, because it is online and because it is Wild World. They just wanted to say, you have your town, but now you can play with anyone around the world. And maybe that's why we have the pinwheel system now, because, yeah, it's the whole world for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, and I love that. I think later with Pocket Camp, we see a very similar logo where it's showing that pin world again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm glad you brought up like the Wild World title, because it does seem like, you're looking at kind of a globe type of thing. You're seeing the whole world.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, this one's real solid. I like it.
Yeah, I think it gets the message across very clearly. And also, I'm noticing there's like a balloon there too. I think the slingshot was added in this game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the DS had that double screen that was so cool looking.
Yes.
Yeah, and the whole time you always had a view of the sky. And now that I'm looking at like the nighttime sky, you see the constellations kind of show up among the stars.
Oh, yeah.
Which was something that we couldn't do before either.
Right, and then they introduced Celeste.
Yeah, who's adorable.
Adorable, I love her.
Yeah, and I guess she does get like highlighted on the back too. We've got the text that says like, your world just got a lot bigger. And so Celeste is here and Harriet is here. Actually, like everybody we pointed out from the cover that's got kind of a new role is here. We've got Celeste showing off the constellations, Harriet showing off her, I guess she talks about accessories here, but she does do your hair, for example.
Yeah.
And then you've got Booker here talking about connectivity, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Right.
visit friends, something, local wireless, or the internet.
Yeah. So that's a big thing. It's a big change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like they're assuming that a lot of people have had an experience with this game before. I'm not sure they expected Animal Crossing to blow up as much as it did. Because like all of these things seem targeted at like, this is a new Animal Crossing game. It's bigger than the one you played before. And it doesn't seem to capture that like, there's a lot of new people that are going to be coming to this game.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so
acting
maybe,
like a sequel.
Yeah, so maybe they weren't as confident in Animal Crossing back then. But I'm really glad Wild World did really well, because it's the first game for so many people.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad it was big enough to become important to Nintendo.
Yeah. Thank you, DS.
I mean, the DS itself is the second best-selling console of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a big deal.
So, well, and I don't know if we should include this or not, but the next one in 2006 is the Animal Crossing movie.
We should definitely include it.
Okay. I love the art in this movie, and I love how the background is so watercolory, but also so bright, and they do such a great job with the lighting, and they just make it feel so warm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I also love that in the movie has hands. I think we need hands in Animal Crossing Switch, you guys.
That's pretty true. I'm noticing it's 5-fingered hands as well.
They're like realistic hands. They're not just little like mittens.
Yeah. because I spend some time listening to like animation podcasts, for example, and I remember being really fascinated with one conversation just about like when people go out to start designing characters for an animated movie or something. One of the discussions is hands, and they're like, all right, what kind of hands are we doing though? Are these going to be 4-fingered hands, 5-fingered hands? And so like there's just such an emphasis on what kind of hands these characters are going to have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's a huge background in animation too, like thinking back to Mickey and Goofy and their white gloves. They did that like to make them more expressive so that they didn't fall into the background because everything was just black and white. So the hand part is huge, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that Rosie is wearing something. It basically not her original or initial outfit. Is that something that was in the previous games? I'm not remembering exactly.
Well, she changes her clothes a lot in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like every scene, Rosie's got a new outfit on. I think I does too, actually, which is interesting.
That's true. Yeah, that's one of my low-key favorite things that you can do in Animal Crossing. Just change whenever you want. That's awesome.
Well, and I love that the other character, you, the little boy, is in like his crazy outfits the whole movie too.
Yes.
Because you get visitors and they're just like, what are they wearing? It's amazing.
Yeah, and they do point out like near the end that everybody's like, huh, I think this is the first time I've seen your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I do like in one of in the bottom screenshot that you have with the Rosie and I together, the trees that they drew for this movie. I love that they like integrated that like circle pattern to the trunks. Because I feel like that's classic Animal Crossing where everything's got like this kind of pattern on top of it.
And they look so realistic at the same time. They did such a good job taking pieces of the game and bringing it to the movie.
Yeah, and making it like all exist, just like the natural aesthetic of the game existing with kind of, like you said, that more realistic look is pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, nice except for the character faces. They look exactly like the game, but other than that, they do a great job. True. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, should we move on to City Folk?
Yeah, City Folk. Okay. So City Folk came out on the Wii in 2008. So this is going into when I was in college now. I don't want to give away too much of my age, I guess, but there we go. So this one is so different than the other ones, and I am not a fan. It's like bright and saturated. It's the first time they're using like 3D models instead of illustrated figures. And the background, the background is so full of stuff. It's like they didn't know what direction to go in. I'm not sure. What do you guys think about this one?
Yeah, for sure. It just throws me off. Like, you see the background, it looks like it's far away into the distance, but then for some reason there's these big trees like in the foreground at the top. It just looks off to me.
Yeah. And it shows a little bit of that curvature, so it's showing that there's still going to be like that pin world type mechanic, but I mean, it's crazy. It's like Central Park back there.
Yeah, looking at it more closely, because I've always like never been the biggest fan of this cover art.
Yeah.
It's always been kind of off. And now that I'm looking at it more closely, I just kind of feel like it's one of those rugs that you put down in a kid's room that has like that car design. Because you see the bus driving on this kind of road,
Yeah.
And it kind of disappears in the left.
Yeah,
in,
there's
the
like
kind
no
of front
perspective
portion,
at all.
and then comes out on the right.
Yeah.
Like way up there. And then you have these other like dirt paths coming in, which I think, that's referring to everybody's dreaded animal tracks.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
And so that kind of like takes it away from me too, because those destroyed your town in that first game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Desert
then,
wasteland.
yeah, and I feel like all the characters, they don't feel like part of the scene.
Mm-mm.
They feel like they're just kind of thrown on there. And I guess you see the little squirrel. I forget which squirrel this is.
I
But
think
kind of
that's
in between.
Hazel before there was the other Hazel.
Okay.
Oh.
So yeah. So yeah, you see her kind of there. And she's not really doing anything.
No!
It doesn't seem like she's in this world. And then even like you see Bill at the very far right. He's got a fishing rod and he's walking down like this highway.
He is on a highway. Where's your water, Bill? I don't understand.
Yeah, and I'm just why is he going fishing in that direction? When you see like up at the top left, there's kind of a beach and palm trees
Yeah, a little
behind Nook's
bit.
cranny. And I'm like, I feel like you should have put him over there if you're
Well,
gonna have
and
him
the
go
closest
fishing.
character to that beach is Jingle. What? Why?
Yeah, Jingle feels really out of place here
And if
because
you
it's
guys
not
look,
snowy.
no, it's not. Look over on the right-hand side by the museum. Franklin is being a little creeper, peeking out behind the museum.
That's true.
It's so I don't know what happened with this box, Nintendo.
Yeah, and then I didn't know Poncho was in any of the box arts, but he's got like that same problem going on with Hazel the squirrel, where he's just kind of there, like he's kind of in the very middle of the box behind the bus by like a rock. He's facing the same direction as her.
Mm-hmm. He's trying to
Dizzy's
catch
got
the
that
bus.
problem too. The elephant in front of the bus. The only one. They kind of all have that problem, except for maybe Alfonso, or not Alfonso. What's the
Is that
anteater's
Antonio?
name?
What is his
Antonio.
name?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because Antonio, he's like chasing a butterfly.
Yes.
Which is,
He's got his
allowed
net
to
out.
do that. Catch that
There's
butterfly.
a butterfly right in front of him. I feel like he's the only one who's in the scene, and I guess Elmer as well, who's sitting by the tree and reading a book.
Yeah, that looks cozy.
Yeah, that looks nice. I just feel like they threw characters on there.
Yeah, it really looks
And-
like it was done last minute.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like things belong.
Also, to
And-
be even extra pickier, the typography that they used for city folk under the Animal Crossing sign,
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's just like it's like Times New Roman or something like that. It looks like it was going to be a placeholder, and then someone forgot to change it.
Yeah. And I feel like there's some like good ideas here. It's not very well executed, but I do kind of like that they were going for, you're looking into this town and way up to the north you've got this new city to go to, but it's like the city is so small and kind of it's just distant in the background. So it doesn't feel like it goes. And now that I'm looking at like the two villager characters at the very front, they're just like floating in a bush.
They are.
Like you can see both their feet and it's awkward. Like the female villager here is like, is she jumping in the air, kind of like laying in a bush? I don't know.
No, I think the villager pushed her into it. She's falling backwards into the tree.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, though, above the Animal Crossing logo is the little yellow bird who we
Right.
start to see more and more often from now on.
Yeah, that's true. Because now we have this bird that's a regular bird versus, a bird that's a villager
Yeah.
character.
And it
So-
lines up exactly with, who's that
Twiggy?
name? Twiggy? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both yellow birds.
Yeah, is that Twiggy's cousin?
Oh, no.
But I do really like those like normal birds that do like indicate that there's a new message at the bulletin board. you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
Gosh, but this
So-
isn't the first game where the bird shows up at the message board, right?
I don't know.
That's something we're
I guess I don't remember. I feel like you didn't necessarily need any indicator in the first game, like the first Animal Crossing, because you're all in that same kind of plaza. And I feel like once you enter the game, you're already there. And the first thing I always did was just check the bulletin board. Like, it wasn't out of the way at all. It just happened to be the first thing I'd do every day.
Yeah.
And so I think I just need to remember if they had the bird in Wild World, because that's the point where the bulletin board is off somewhere else.
Oh, right.
You're not always going to know to check it. And so maybe they learned after that to add a little, I guess, messenger type of character to let you know, hey, there's something new on this bulletin board and you might be interested. So take a look.
Well, it's adorable either way.
Yeah, and they're holding a little 4-leaf clover, which is super cute.
Super cute.
Yeah, but overall, it's weird. Like, it feels like you're opening up a scene between, like, these trees and bushes. I don't really know what.
Yeah.
And you're taking a little peek into this random set of Animal Crossing characters.
Yeah. I think, like, the only props we can give this is that the characters, because they're little 3D models, they look exactly the way they do in the game.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not
that's
trying
true.
to pull the wool over your eyes or anything.
Yeah. So I guess, did you have anything to say about the back of the box?
Well, we see more of those little vignettes. The speech bubbles are gone. And I mean, it's not really introducing anything new except for maybe the little voice chat thing that they have.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
We Speak, what was that called?
Yes, that's it.
That was it. Yeah.
And this one does say your first day in Animal Crossing. I guess, trying to capture new players instead of focusing on returning players from the series.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one kind of gives you... I do like that your first day in Animal Crossing, and then at the end of it says, now go live the other 364 days.
Right.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah,
But
I think it's cute that it's like painting you that picture, that story of here's what you can do in a day. And it's really up to you to do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Were you going to say anything else about that?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. We can go to New Leaf, I guess.
Yeah, New Leaf. Okay. New Leaf, on the 3DS in 2012, it came out. So this one is got a little bit more of a pastel palette. Not as bright. It's not burning my retinas anymore, but it's still so busy. It's definitely focusing on the public works projects, and it's showing the new species. It's got little Hamtaro and little deer lady there. But same thing, and it's got Main Street in the background, and it's got the island in the background, but it's really, really busy again.
Yeah, that's true. I'm kind of getting that same impression, too. Where it's trying to fit in everything that you can do
Right.
in there. And I feel like it's missing out. Because I think what the first games did so well, at least with Animal Crossing population growing, that cover really captures that, like, you're moving into this new place and you're meeting some animals there too. Like, I feel like that idea is there.
Yeah.
And then Wild World, you get the idea that there's this, like, Earth that you're on. This strange Earth with, like, talking animals and things. And I feel like that's captured well. And the City Folk one, it just, like, doesn't really capture that idea of the city too strongly.
No.
And then New Leaf, I feel like it gets lost again in that too.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really capture the feeling of Animal Crossing. It's so busy, and it wants to show you how many things that you can do, but it's not focusing on what I think most people play Animal Crossing for, which is kind of your, like, escape from how busy real life is.
Mm.
This is making me like anxious of all the things that I have to do when I log in. Something about like the
Yeah.
inverted curve too. So instead of being like a rounded sphere like Wild World, for some reason they chose almost like a
It's more of like,
fisheye.
yeah, like a fisheye, kind of like a concave
Yeah.
type of thing versus like a convex
That just
circle.
it's I'm not sure about that. It's a little bit inception-y. It's making me making me nervous.
Yeah, that's true. Like you're all living in a cylinder, but you're on the inside of that
Right, right.
cylinder
Instead of the
versus the
outside.
outside of
Yeah.
it.
I
Yeah,
will say
definitely.
the back is good though. It highlights the different seasons. It highlights the island. Um, it explains that you're the mayor this time, which is huge for New Leaf, obviously.
Yes. Hmm.
Hmm.
So I almost like the back of this box better than the front of it.
Yeah. I'll say the one thing I really do like of the front of it, and maybe this could have been more of a focus when they designed this, is the town tree.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the town tree is like very strong. That's always been kind of my favorite part of New Leaf, where here's this new concept here where we're planting this tree, and as you play this game, it's growing alongside you. You're doing things to grow your town, but then also there's this symbol here that's showing that growth. And then you have KK Slider sitting there. Like how,
Yeah.
we don't see KK Slider for a while in this game, but like how
Right.
cool would it have been if he just showed up to the town tree every Saturday to play a song for us, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, he really fits nicely under the tree, and he's even got like little groupies next to him. It's adorable.
Yeah, it is really cute. I also do like little Tom Nook in his jacket, way
Aw.
off to the right.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even see him.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, it seems like they're trying to this front section is like the bottom half of this cover art is dedicated to here are the new things you can do. Here's retail. There's these two new alpaca characters. You give them a brown chair, they give you back a white chair. You know, like they've painted it. And then you have Isabel in the front too, and you're like, yeah, I do want to build this jungle gym type of thing here. And then right behind her, there's the jungle gym type of thing, and Hamlet's playing on it.
Totally.
So yeah, it just seems like it's very focused on like, here are the two big new things that we
Yes.
have right up front. And I don't know, I feel like it just doesn't capture the feeling in a very like clean and relaxing way, I
Right.
think.
Right.
Yeah.
Better than City Folk, but still missing the mark
Right.
just a
Right.
little bit.
At least nobody seems to be floating on this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. One thing I'm noticing with these is they all kind of feel like they're during the summer time of Animal Crossing. Like the covers are very summer focused.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I've never been worried about pointing out the seasons in Animal Crossing.
Right.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
this is the first time we've seen snow on the back cover.
Yeah, like all the, this is, yeah, exactly that. Like the back covers where it's really different from the new games. And I think
Yes.
as far as back covers go, like I like this one
Yeah.
still. And I think it is just because like we're finally seeing like they're highlighting the real-time clock aspect of it, where they're showing here's a snow day and here's fireworks during the summer.
Yeah.
Like the opposite you can get.
Yeah. Love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they also seem to be focused on like the street pass feature as well.
On the back?
Yeah, they're kind of showing pictures, several of them, of kind of visiting that Happy Home Showcase area.
Right. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So lots of things going on, and I really like it because I feel like it's giving that different feel that you get when you're in different parts of Animal Crossing, especially season-wise.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes the game so special, I think, is the real-time clock and the real-time year, season-wise.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. So that does it with like mainline games, but I see you've got the spin-offs too. I'm excited about this.
Oh, I included all of them. I honestly included all of them because I think the art for Happy Home Designer and Pocket Camp, which we'll get into them in a second, is so different than everything else that I really think it'd be nice to highlight the work that these, you know, designers did. So Happy Home Designer's next. It came out in 2015, which doesn't feel that long ago, but it's becoming a long time. And this one is so different. So the box art is really muted almost. It's got some bright, warm colors, but all the cool colors are nice and muted in the background. And they're made to look like, all the characters are made to look like little stickers. So
Yes.
they've got a thick white outline, and it's showing you, the player, that you can place anything you want to in each of these rooms. And I think it's adorable.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite box arts
Yeah.
for sure. Because I do really like that sticker type of look. Because even the items feel like they're stickers as well.
Yeah.
It makes me think of like I guess what's that material? Kind of like that velvety material, and you're looking at I guess it's not like velvety.
Like those books that you would have when you were little, and the stickers were like vinyl.
Yeah, kind of like that, and you can stick them anywhere and be like, "Oh, this is my new design."
And you can unstick them too, right? You can kind of put it anywhere you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I loved those when I was little.
Yeah, so it seems like they're taking that idea that exists and kind of doing that. And this cover actually makes me wish like we could get this type of view from the game. Like,
Yeah, that cutaway illustration.
yeah, like kind of just cut that front part of the house on and see this as if it were one of those sticker books, you know?
Yeah, and you can see each room within the house. It's adorable.
Yeah.
I also love that there's like a texture inside of the sticker that they're really like almost modeled watercolor. I just really like it. I think it again gives them that really warm, like homey feeling,
Yeah.
handmade feeling.
Yeah, which is a good thing to do when you have like the word home in your title.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's super cute. Though I just noticed down on the bottom floor, the Isabel that's looking through the window does not have a little outline on her. She's like part of the game or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, she gives me that vibe that she's like already drawn onto this scene looking through the
Yeah.
window. And then everything else is what you're building around her. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
And the back of this case is even more interesting, I think, because it's just a picture. There's no explanation of the game at all.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even notice that. It's like not telling you anything.
Yeah.
It's just saying, here's this really nice scene that you
Yeah.
can make.
I mean, once you play the game, you kind of realize it's showing you the yard and that you can change things outside of the house now. But it's not like it says, new and Happy Home Designer, you can, customize your yard. How fun.
Yeah. And I'm really liking, I guess I don't know if I ever got these items, but where Tom Nook is standing, you've got these little like floor lamp things. And I'm like, where are those? I want those in my
They're
town.
like a garden item, I think. They're like little garden lamps.
Yeah, I love that because I would love to have like little paths lined with those.
Yes, yes.
I need
Oh,
that in my
man.
life for sure.
Yeah, that'd be a great Switch item.
Yeah.
And I noticed, no KK slider on the front or the back.
Oh, he's not
But-
here.
It kind of makes sense because most of the special characters sort of take a backseat on Happy Home Designer, and I guess for good reason. They want to focus on the villagers and you making a home for them via their amiibo cards.
Well, and if you don't have a KK amiibo card, can you even build his room in this game? Will he come up at all?
Right. I was wondering. I want to say no. Is that correct? Like the special characters are really not around unless you have the amiibo.
You know what? I don't. Yeah, I think that might be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, which seems pretty crazy because there's so many special characters in each set. There were 17 in each card set, and then there were of course the figures.
Right.
So,
Hmm.
I mean, you had the option to get the figures the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of those special characters too, I did notice like most of the highlight seems to be on Lottie as she was introduced in this game,
She was.
and then in the back, you finally do get to see Tom Nook because Tom Nook's Homes is like the main store that you're working for.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people hate on Lottie, but I think she's really cute.
I think she's cute too. I like the little otter characters.
And I
Yeah.
love how when she has her different outfits on, she's got one without mascara and her eyes are just little dots. It's adorable.
Yeah, that's true. um, yeah, and I'm noticing on the back, it's essentially like that front cover art, but extended
Yeah.
a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's adorable. I love it.
Yeah. It's such a nice like homemade again, like hand drawn type feel to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and I think my of all of them, the colors have always been my favorite from
Yeah.
this one. They're very complementary with like the reds and the greens.
Very nice.
Yeah. So
All right.
let's talk about the best game ever
You
made.
guys ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right. Also 2015 Amiibo Festival for the Wii U, just not my Wii U. So I think there's good and bad in this one. It is going back to bright, saturated colors. There's really great 3D models. I mean, they look awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
There's just so much going on again, even more so than the city folk somehow.
Yeah.
It's like and the change of the logo is unreal.
Oh yes.
So like it has the regular wooden Animal Crossing logo, which honestly is not my favorite, but it's there. And then underneath of it, it's like I'm red and bright, and this is Amiibo Festival. It's like couldn't be screaming at you louder, possibly.
Right.
It feels like Pave designed this one.
I think you're right. Pave totally designed it. Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's just bright and loud and in your face, and also Leaf is floating through the air in the background. I don't know why. What is he doing?
I imagine he's like attached to balloons or something
Do you
because
think
that is one of
so?
the mini games.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, that's true. But it's cut off. Maybe it's just the one that I found online. It's totally cut off. You cannot see the balloons. He looks like one of those crane machine games, like he's being lifted through the air.
Yeah. You know
It's
what I'll
amazing.
say? What I'll say about this one being busy is I do feel like it fits the theme of
That's
what they were
true.
trying to go for with the game. Like it feels like a festival is going
Yes.
on.
And
Whereas,
there's so
like,
many different games.
Yeah. Whereas like my issue with like City Folk was like, why are all these characters where they are?
Yeah.
This one it feels like, oh yeah, there's a festival going on and everybody's there.
Yeah. I mean, it's got that pave confetti, there's balloons, there's even like fairy lights on the trees. So you're right. It's it's allowed to be exuberant.
Yeah. And it looks like Lloyd is holding a balloon, which is cute.
Yeah. And there's your KK with a
Yep.
strategically placed guitar.
Yeah. And what I'm noticing is like the three front characters, Isabel, KK, and Tom Nook, they all have like the main board game thing going on. Obviously, they're standing on those spaces that show up in the game. But Tom Nook, of course, has his money, and KK Slider above him has like the happy point kind of icon
Oh
thing going
yeah.
on, which is kind of the main stuff that you're trying to get. And then, of course, Isabel has the die that you roll to get all those things.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the amiibo, or at least the Desert Island Escape characters on the right.
Yeah, that looks nice over there with their little hats, their safari hats on.
Yeah, they're adorable.
And I mean, again, it's this 3D, almost HD rendering of these characters that are a little flat, but they look good on this cover.
Hmm.
And they looked
Hmm.
good in game, I think.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And the back of the box is is almost like a grid system. It's showing you all the different mini games. Um, I mean, there's a lot to do in this game, and it's
Yeah.
trying to fit all of it on there. I think it does a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's just too bad it wasn't that fun.
Too bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I think of the busy ones, I'll give this one a pass because I feel like it's supposed to feel busy.
Yeah.
Like there's a
yeah,
lot going on with the game.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. And then last one, Pocket Camp 2017, which also feels like it just happened, but that's been a while now. I love the Pocket Camp art. I love it. It goes back to that kind of muted colors. We see the pin world from Wild World again. It's a little busier than the Wild World one because we've
Yes.
got
Hmm.
the three. I was about to call them the three amigos. What are they? Our little crow friends, our bird friends. At OK. Oh my gosh, OK Motors.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty packed with characters, but it the colors are so nice, and the background is so simplified that it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the wooden logo of Animal Crossing is back to being sort of the centerpiece of the logo, which I think it just works better.
Yeah, it does. And the little addition underneath that says Pocket Camp and it has the tiny tent is adorable.
Yes, it
Yeah,
works really well.
I really like that it's also wooden and it looks like it's nailed in to the
Yeah.
existing logo.
Yeah.
It feels like it works as
Yeah,
an
yep.
addition to it. Yeah. But yeah, with this one, sometimes I just sit there and would watch this as it spun, because it kind of like
Yeah.
rotates on the
Right.
title screen while you're looking at it. And I always like the town tree. I love seeing that. So seeing that spin around, and I'm like, oh, can I see a little bit more of this tree? But yeah, seeing all the different settings. And this is a case where it's busy. It has a lot of things going on, but there's context given to the characters. Like you have
Yeah.
this line. Is that Rory?
Is one of them.
I forget which lion this is, but he's fishing and he's actually got a fishing rod and everything. Bo's kind of doing like this barbecue. And then you have Cherry, the bear at the very top, just drinking some
Yes.
coffee outside of her tent, which is really nice.
Yeah. It
So-
brings back that calm feeling, and I think it's the colors that they chose. It really brings that nice calm feeling to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that the colors change for each season. So the one that we're looking at right now is like the minty green one. I don't know if it's really minty, but I think this was the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just nice. And then
Yeah.
also in the sky, the top again is like the clouds, and the bottom is the constellations brought back. So it's showing that day and night cycle again.
Right.
That's true. And there's a little shooting star, too, on the bottom left,
Yeah.
which is cute.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Plus, we
and
see the camper with Mabel and Sable. No, not Mabel. Yes, Mabel.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I like the differences in seeing like the day and the night. They're the same color, but they also, I feel, capture that really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a nice. I've really enjoyed the artwork for Pocket Camp.
And I noticed that on the logo itself, right above animal, they added a couple of pine trees and some flags like banners. They hadn't
Yeah.
done that before. It's not on the Switch one either, so it's just this one.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
nice touch.
true. Yeah, the only one they've really had something float above that was, I guess, New Leaf,
Right.
where
Hmm.
you had that leaf coming in, which I think it worked on
Yeah, I
that
liked
one.
it.
I've always liked the New Leaf kind of Animal Crossing the subtitle integration to that logo.
Yes.
But yeah, this one is like one of the cleaner integrations of it, where it has another wooden sign nailed to
Mm.
it and just some little more accents to make that original Animal Crossing logo more interesting, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
And it fits the theme because it's wooden also and you're like camping, so it's cute and rustic. It's perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
And then underneath I also added just some loading screens because they stick with this like soft muted palette with a bunch of these loading screens. We have the one from when the game first released with all the little pine trees and the camper cars that are so cute and the little mountains. I loved this one. And it's just like a nice little pattern. And then more recently, we've gotten the ones with the villager faces that are like little avatar faces. Which have you guys ever interacted with it? If you tap the screen, they'll jump. One of the faces
Yeah.
will jump. It's super cute.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is cute. I tap it the whole time.
I always try and get Kicks to jump.
Yeah, I just kind of look at a character and I'm like, I wonder if this one's going to jump this time.
It's so cute. But
Yeah.
they're like flattened drawings. They're not like those 3D renderings again. I like that they look like they've been illustrated instead.
Yeah, I like that look too a lot. But yeah, the original like loading screen one with the 3 little campers, the 2 mountains, and then just like a pattern of trees. I've
Yeah.
always really liked that. That's a really cute
Yes.
design.
It's such a nice background for your phone, too.
Yeah, it works really well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I like it.
Cool. Well, yeah, this was a lot of fun. Did you have anything else to say about the Art of Animal Crossing? Anything you're looking forward to with the new ones?
Well, I'm just hoping that Animal Crossing Switch will do a good job with the box. And since I love the muted colors and kind of the flat characters, it'll be interesting to see if they continue with that or if they're going to leave it with Pocket Camp.
Yeah, it would be really good to see. Cool. Well, I guess it's time to move on to the final segment of our show. That's Haken's Villager Corner. And for those of you who don't know, we ask a question to our patrons every single week, and then they give us their answer. This week's question is, do you think Animal Crossing Switch will be at E3 2019? So, Nina, let's put you on the spot here. How are you
Oh,
feeling
no.
about it?
Oh man, I was devastated last year. I do a Harry Potter camp over the summer that always just happens to land on E3. So I'm running home at the end of camp because it ends at noon to watch the stream. And I usually keep Discord open so I can see if you guys are reacting to good news or not. And last year when we didn't get any news, it was just the worst feeling. But I don't know. I'm pretty pessimistic when it comes to stuff like this, and I think I do that to kind of protect myself. So
Right.
I really hope that there'll be Animal Crossing, and when you tweeted the other day, Chewy, the map for the E3 that came out the other day that was going to be all Animal Crossing, I like glanced at your tweet at school and was like, oh my gosh, we're about to get news. But I should have read more sarcastically your tweet. So I don't know. I'm going to say no just in case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really hoping it would be so amazing to walk through like an Animal Crossing set designed by Nintendo. So that's why I'm hoping for it mostly. I need to see that. I mean, I wouldn't see it because I'm not there, but there would be videos.
Yeah, and during the treehouse, when they do like between segments, they just show parts of the Nintendo floor, you know?
Yes.
So when they did that for New Donk City and when they did that for Breath of the Wild, it was just awesome to see in between segments. So if that was Animal Crossing, I might die.
Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah.
So, Sergio, how you feeling?
I think it will. I think it has to. I think we cannot go another E3 without seeing any of it at all. That's almost illegal territory.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is. I think it's gonna be, if not the main focus, one of the main focuses.
Yeah. It's got to be time. It just has to. That's how I feel. I was devastated last time too, but this time, like, we know a game's on the way. And I kind of mentioned this in the video a couple weeks ago or so, but I think we're at the point where we're going to see it regardless of if it's still coming out this year or not.
Yes.
Because Yoshi got that same kind of thing. Like, we thought it was a 2018 game, and they still showed it. Like,
yeah.
At 2017, the year before. So, I don't know. I feel like we're at that point where Nintendo has to show something.
Yeah.
And they might as well be at E3.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through our our patrons' answers. I guess Sergio will go back and forth.
Yes.
I can start since it looks like there's a long one a couple away. Avadea says, I really hope so, at least, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up too high about it. Haha. So it seems like that's the same as you're feeling, Nina.
Yeah.
Yeah, all we can really do is hope, but hope, I don't know, just not too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's happened several times before, even last E3 to some of us, definitely in 2017 to most of us. There's always that you don't want to get too hyped just in case. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So Sarah says, it better be. I'm even more hopeful now that we've had the Mario Maker Direct. Oh, that's a very good point. So
Yeah.
that game looks amazing, for sure. But it's good that they kind of highlighted everything that it's going to be offering, or at least a big portion of it. It kind of points to you that they're not going to really talk much about it during the E3 Direct, which leaves more time for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I think they're still going to talk about it at E3, mostly because they're going to announce a Super Mario Maker special console, I think. Like, there's probably going to be a Switch console for the game. And I think there's still some things that they are holding back from telling us. So I think they wanted to get the bulk of it out because, the game comes out next month. And they don't want to have that same scenario. I'm feeling like they don't want to have the same, like, Smash scenario where, yes, they're talking about their biggest game of the year, but still people are like, we still just want to hear about other things. So they got a bit of backlash for that. And I think that's what they were avoiding by having a direct focused on Mario Maker prior to E3. So Bunny says... So. Yeah, I hope so too. So Bunny says, I think it's time. I'd be really surprised if it didn't happen at E3, but hey, I've been wrong before. I have too. Honestly, if it's not there, I feel like it has to be delayed. If it's still coming in 2019, they have to show it, right? The only tiny thing that makes me think it could be shown in the months after E3 is the fact that AC is so big in Japan. Maybe they'd wait for a better time to announce it for Japanese fans. I'm not sure how big E3 is in Japan, as it is so US focused, but fingers crossed, or animal crossed, we see it at E3. I don't want to get up at 2 a.m. for nothing.
Oh, man.
That's true. Like, seeing this just not in the same time zone makes it kind of tough. Like, for me, it's going to be 10 a.m. I'm going to already have had breakfast at that point. I'm going to be all set up, streaming it with everybody. Which reminds me, like, after doing the rabbit thing with the Mario Maker Direct, I'm like, okay, maybe I should just, like, find a streaming solution on my channel where we can react to it a little bit better, So that might be what we do instead.
Are you guys both taking off work for E3?
Yes.
Nice.
So we're ready to talk about this. But I think I'm gonna figure out a better solution for us to all watch it together.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but
So,
yeah, go for it, Sergio.
so Rolu says, absolutely. I don't think Nintendo can afford not to alter the reaction to the February Direct, but maybe that's just wishful thinking. Less than a month to go.
Yeah, I mean, February was it was so hard. And I had a weird experience during that direct where I had like a meeting, and so I was like on my way to a meeting, but avidly just like looking at the Discord to see how you all were reacting during the whole thing, because I was just like, I don't really care if I don't see it the first time. I just need to know that when I get back to my desk after this meeting, I can see it.
Right.
And then it turned out that I couldn't, so I was like, man, that's a bummer.
That's how I'm going to be with my camp.
Yeah. So that's exactly how I felt. I can relate to that. So Sasha505 says, yes, I hope so. I'm really looking forward to it. Also, for some reason, it feels like they would show Animal Crossing last, just like last time. Not sure if my nerves can take it.
I totally agree with this. That's totally what they're going to do.
Yeah, I see them definitely withholding that to the very end. That's such a Nintendo thing to do.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. So, Cathario says, I really do expect Animal Crossing to be at E3. With how close we are to the end of 2019, they need to start giving us a trailer, rough date, anything. However, I don't think will be the main show at E3, especially since there are several other major games that also need a bit more information out. Though I think we are one of the only ones without even a trailer at this point. If we get absolutely nothing at E3, as horrifying as the thought is, that is when I'll start to be more concerned about delays. But Nintendo has reassured us several times that everything is on track and not to worry. At this point, I'm just trying to not get too hyped or I won't be able to function and the wait time will slow to a crawl. It cries.
Yeah. You know, what this is making me think of, like, Nintendo has said this game's coming out in 2019. They've stuck to that this entire time. They haven't told us anything different. So I feel like they're confident about the release date, you know? And
well, they haven't told us anything different because they haven't told us anything at all.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, what I'm saying they told us is essentially like they had an investors meeting, a couple of them since the news, and they've reassured investors that there's not going to be another Metroid situation here.
Oh, man.
And so I'm going to take that to heart. I'm going to believe them about this, and I'm going to hope that they're right. But if we're really going to see this game at E3, which is in June, the most we're going to be waiting is like 6 months and a half for this game, which is so close at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. Like, once we see it, it's going to be very soon that the game comes out.
I hope so.
I hope so.
We're not going to see a lot of things that change. Basically, we're going to see the final product.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, we're going to see a very close to done game.
Oh, man.
We won't have those little villagers that had the really long arms.
Right?
Yeah. Which I loved. They were cute. So Medi says, knowing our luck, probably not. This is the most Medi comment for sure.
Yes, it is.
He's always just like, you know what? I just can't believe it. It's probably not going to happen. And so Medi's that person who can bring us down a little bit and maybe expect the worst.
That's all right, though. You always need a little Eeyore.
I think so.
So Tap says, I'll be shocked and very disappointed if we didn't. I think it's time. Time for a little release date, a title, a release date, or at least the month in a trailer. I can't wait.
Yeah, and that's true. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I think, the fact that we've gone through so much silence, I think when they speak about it, we're going to get a lot of details.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're at that point that once we start getting something for the game, like, it's just going to start rolling out on Twitter and stuff too. Like, once we've seen this game, it's going to be like random updates at 6 p.m. my time for just Animal Crossing, you know?
Yeah, they've been doing that more and more.
Yeah, so I think that's just become the norm for them. So Dragon says, "This is the time to strike. This is the moment. Nintendo's been holding their Animal Crossing cards very close to their chest, and this should be the best reason for where to finally cover it and show their hand or paw or what have you." So I'm of a 80 to 90% confidence interval that they'll show it this time. So that's pretty strong. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
And
That is.
yeah, they've been holding back this whole time, and I agree. It's time.
Yeah, for sure. So Jillian Tuffo says, absolutely yes. It would be a bad move on Nintendo's part if nothing was shown. I'm guessing that we will see it in both the main segment as well as the treehouse. Yes, the treehouse is going to give us all the details. Well, assuming we do see it this year.
That's the part I've been most excited about because the treehouse things are so fun when it's covering games that you're really interested in. And so that just gives us like, I don't know, probably 40 more minutes of Animal Crossing footage to watch through.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I guess I look at that in the sense of like, I'm 40 more minutes closer to this Animal Crossing game every single day that I watch this. So it's a big deal for me.
Well, and I think Jillian's got a point that, you know, as pessimistic as I am about this, it's really not going to be good if Nintendo doesn't show anything at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we're a big fan base at this point.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people waiting for this game, and so it's, I don't know. We're gonna be angry if they don't show anything. So Charlotte says, "I have a big feeling that Animal Crossing will be at E3 this year. If not, I've lost all hope for humanity."
Oh no.
And that's exactly it. Like that captures it. Like we're gonna be an angry crowd. We're gonna be a mob if this game isn't shown off.
So Fantastic says, yes, it will be there 1000%. Or else Nintendo will taste the fans' wrath.
Oh no.
We're going down the same theme here. Yes,
We
yes.
are.
And I really like the Tom Nook quote here. Yes, yes. So Jam says, "I think so, because they've already said that the E3 presentation will be focused on games coming out this year, and Animal Crossing has been reconfirmed to be coming out this year. Also, they haven't shown us anything about Animal Crossing Switch, so it would be a big feature in their E3 presentation / treehouse. I don't think my heart could take another round of disappointment." Same. I'm just like, this is the one time that we know a game is coming, and so we've got our hearts set on this, you know? At least a lot of us do.
Right. So Jesslyn says, I think it has to be if it's not delayed. The over-hopeful part of me thinks that they've been so tight-lipped about Animal Crossing because they will be announcing its launch date that the launch date is soon after E3, or sometime this summer. I know that's super unlikely, but it would be the best surprise ever, especially after being so quiet for way too long. Oh man, imagine the hype if that's the case.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I want this game to just come out. I just want to see it. I want to know that it's coming this year, or, you know, I just want to know that it's coming after they announce it. Be it earlier or later, I don't really care at this point, but just show it to me.
Show it.
Show it to me, and then let me know that it's coming soon. So Grace, or a penguin named Abraham, says, "Do you think a bear poops in the woods, Chewy? Of course." So there you have it. If a bear poops in the woods, then yes, we're getting Animal Crossing.
Nice. So Lyalatron says, yes, it will. And if it gets a similar boost to content that Mario Maker 2 got, then I'll be one happy villager.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah,
cute.
that's the thing. I think if they do show it, it's definitely going to be a key part of the presentation. It just has to at this point.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what is new with this game.
Yeah, what's the new gimmick?
Yeah, because there's got to be one. Rosa says, I think the Animal Crossing community has been very loud and clear on how eager we are that they have to tell us or show us something. I'm being positive and hoping for the best. And yeah, that's short and sweet. Like, all we can really do is be positive and hope for the best.
So Arden and Herban say, last year, the both of us were so certain that Animal Crossing Switch was going to be talked about at E3, and were very disappointed for a while afterwards. It has to be shown this year. Like the both of you have said, a trailer cannot be held off any longer without the game being delayed if they're releasing it this year. Nintendo has seen all the feedback from Animal Crossing fans and how long they have been waiting to see something. Yes, and honestly, probably to some extent, even the other fan bases from other titles, they might be reaching out to Nintendo and saying, you know, these Animal Crossing fans are getting louder and louder. Can you give them something, please?
Yeah, I mean, people like inundate them on Twitter with everything that they tweet. I mean, they've got to be seeing something.
Right.
They know. Of course they know that there's a call for it. And I would honestly love if other fan bases, instead of saying, well, you know, Metroid fans have it worse or Pikmin fans have it worse, just saying, we all have it pretty bad. Give us our games.
Yes.
Yeah.
You told Animal Crossing fans it's coming. Let them have it, you know? Because I would be supportive to the Metroid and Pikmin fans. Like, I'm a Pikmin fan. I haven't played too many Metroid games, but I would if they came out.
Well, and they need to, you know, it's a Venn diagram of Nintendo love. We got to remember that we're all together on this.
Yeah, definitely. There's that overlap, and we're there. We're there for sure. All right, well, thank you all so much for listening. If you want to be part of the conversation on all things Animal Crossing, join our Discord. I have a link in the description of this podcast. It's totally free to join. You don't have to be a patron. And if you do join, you can get Sergio and my friend codes. If you want to become a patron, visit patreon.com/ChewyPlaysNintendo. For just $1, you can support our show, get tons of cool things like being on the show, like Nina just now. And you can see our current goals to improve the show and our content. We're getting a lot closer to our $100 goal, which would get us new artwork for Haken every single month, and then eventually lead into a big calendar at the end of the year, which I'm very excited about. So
Me too.
check it out if you want to support there. It's pretty... I feel like it's worth it. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube, please leave a comment and let us know if you expect to see Animal Crossing at E3, or tell us about the Animal Crossing art that you like. And please leave a review of the show wherever you're listening. It helps the show gain some visibility and allows our community to grow. And once again, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.